for the emergence of a new Africa.
On Network Africa this week, we're looking at how far things have gone concerning bringing back the missing schoolgirls. South Sudan is relying heavily on the international community. More funds are needed to save the people of the Central African Republic, and illegal immigration at all costs is on the rise. The Nigeria Chief of Defense Staff Alex Badeh claims that the military has located the missing schoolgirls.
We know where they are, but we cannot tell you. Okay, we cannot come and tell you military secrets here. Just leave us alone, we are working.
But demonstrators in the Bring Back Our Girls campaign vow to carry on with their protests.
We must not be citizens of a country where over 200 girls are taken away from us, and we would carry on as though everything were normal.
Then the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees says more assistance is needed in an overcrowded and flooded South Sudanese refugee camp where almost 100,000 people are sheltering in tents after fleeing violence in the East African nation.
It is also our hope that with the refocusing of the mandate and the lessons learned from previous experience, UNMISS peacekeepers who have at times put their own lives at risk to protect civilians will be better prepared and equipped to respond more effectively in protecting civilians, themselves, and their installations.
Speaking of help, the people of the Central African Republic are in need of more funds.
The majority of them are in Chad and in Cameroon, where WFP has had to declare an emergency. Most of these people are women and children, and many of the children are malnourished. So basically we need more funds to be able to cope with this emergency.
Then illegal migration is on another level as migrants from the Middle East, Asia and Africa penetrates the United Kingdom in search of greener pastures at all cost. Hello and welcome to this episode of Network Africa with me, Cynthia Are. This is indeed the last edition of the show for the month of May, and we begin right here in Nigeria. As the search for the missing girls continues, the protests are not backing down in any way. Let's listen to what the Chief of Defense Staff, Air Chief Marshal Alex Badeh, told angry protesters at the Defense Headquarters, Abuja, concerning the military's knowledge on the location of the missing girls.
We know where they are, but we cannot tell you. Okay, we cannot come and tell you military secrets here. Just leave us alone, we are working. We will get the girls back. I know that people from outside Nigeria are in this war. They are fighting us. They want to destabilize our country, and some people in this country are standing with the forces of darkness. No, we must salvage our country. We must bring sanity back into our nation.
Well, the military did also mention that force would not be the best approach to rescue the Chibok girls and is not being considered for now. But that was not enough to deter protesters who vowed to continue demonstrating until all the girls are brought home safe and sound.
We sincerely hope there is a step towards rescuing the girls, because the first thing is to know where they are. However, we are a bit worried about the position of government. On the one hand, they are saying they will not use force to rescue the girls, and I understand that because there will be risk to the girls. But they are also saying that they are not going to negotiate for the release of the girls. My sense is that if you don't want to use force, you have to put up all options on the table, including negotiating with these people.
It does not matter how long it takes, we will persist in standing with our girls, knowing full well that if no one stood with them, that the probability they would be forgotten like many other cases would occur. We therefore chose to stand with them. And even though it is not the easiest of things to do, because for all of you that come to the Abuja family of Bring Back Our Girls, now and alive, there is a huge opportunity cost to your coming here. We must not be citizens of a country where over 200 girls are taken away from us, and we would carry on as though everything were normal. Nothing is normal until our daughters come home.
Now, the announcement by the military that it knows the location where the girls are being held might have come as a welcome relief for Nigerians. But was that really the best move to make? Well, for notable Nigerians like a federal lawmaker, Senator Uche Chukwumerije, it certainly was not. He was deeply concerned about the military's decision to make that kind of information public, particularly for security reasons.
Like the rest of the nation, I am very much elated by the news that the location of our girls is now known to the army. But like the rest of the nation, especially observers, I'm puzzled by one phrase. According to the military spokesman, the location is a military secret. Now, what puzzles me is simply this. Why do you make public what you consider a military secret? As we are announcing the location, or your discovery of the location of these girls, the news is being known to those holding them captive. And you think they're going to stay there and wait for you until you come to locate the girls and take them away? This puzzled me because we know in all the American operations, military operations, you don't hear a word about that until after their mission is accomplished. The next thing you hear is that mission accomplished and the world knows what is happening.
Now let's check in to see what's happening in South Sudan. Relative calm has returned to the world's newest nation in that there has been a sharp fall in violence. Well, sadly, the people of South Sudan are still bearing the brunt of 5 months of violence, which saw thousands of people killed and over 1 million people displaced.
This is what 5 months of conflict in the world's newest state looks like. South Sudan has literally become a shadow of itself, and every form of assistance, particularly from the international community, is a welcome relief.
To the international community to support as soon as possible with the funds, because the IDPs in Minkaman, they are in the very bad situation, and if rainy season comes, the roads will be blocked, the assistance cannot be deployed to the population, and they will be starving.
The UN Security Council has authorized peacekeepers in South Sudan to focus on protecting civilians, instead of state-building activities, backing the cause of force by UN troops amid worsening violence in the world's newest nation. The US drafted resolution, unanimously adopted by the 15-member council, emphasizes that protection of civilians must be given priority in decisions about the use of available capacity and resources within the mission. The council authorized UN troops to use all necessary means, code for robust military force, to protect civilians, monitor and investigate human rights abuses, assist the delivery of humanitarian aid, and support a cessation of hostilities deal. After the adoption of the mandate, South Sudanese ambassador to the UN, Francis Deng, said, "The government of South Sudan appreciates the fact that greater attention is being placed on the protection of civilians, given the gravity of the crisis the country is going through."
Given the gravity of the crisis the country is going through. It is our hope, however, that there will be no more tragic crises of the kind the world has so painfully witnessed, as the parties are striving to restore peace and reconciliation with accountability through the IGAD-led negotiations. It is also our hope that with the refocusing of the mandate and the lessons learned from previous experience, UNMISS peacekeepers who have at times put their own lives at risk to protect civilians will be better prepared and equipped to respond more effectively in protecting civilians, themselves, and their installations.
A report this month by the UN peacekeeping mission, known as UNMISS, accused government and rebel forces in South Sudan of committing crimes against humanity, including murder, rape, and other sexual violence during the fighting that has left thousands of people dead. The Council almost doubled the number of peacekeepers in late December to 12,500 troops and 1,323 police, allowing the United Nations to bring in reinforcements from other missions. But only about half of the troop surge has been deployed. The Council extended that temporary increase for 6 months and authorized the deployment of new troop contingents instead of reinforcements. The hope for the future is that all 12,500 troops would be on the ground by August.